Hi, lads. Good evening. See a few have come on already. That's good. Just give it a minute and try and get a few more on. Pete Harris, first one on. Hi, Clive. Great performance in the Y Festival. Can you tell me why you didn't try the bread approach on day 3, as it was such a great decision on day 1? Good question. Come to that in a minute, Peter. Yeah, I actually I've had a great week on the Y. Started last Sunday, really, but I'll be going through that because that's going to be my main thesis tonight, if you like. Talking about the Y this week. I got a few things to talk about, so yeah, it should be interesting. So remind me a little bit later, Peter, and I'll mention that. Dave P62, hi mate, good evening. Great 3-day festival on River Y. Wish more rivers fished half as good. Yes, I agree. I'm going to talk about that as well a little bit later, Dave, because I'm a bit apprehensive about it, to be honest. But I'll tell you my views on that a little bit later. Neil Smith, hiya, mate. Well done yesterday. Oh, yes, that was a win. Nice to top up the week, wasn't it, with a little win. Local venue, yeah, surprising that. I'll talk about that later as well. Dave Hinton, hiya, mate. The Y is something else at the moment. Yes, it is. Over the years, it's gone better, hasn't it? This run of fish, if you like, migration to that part of the river. But I want to talk about that a little bit more about that later, Dave. Chris fan, hiya, Chris. All right, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Kevin Rogers, hiya, mate. Do you ever use Secandus reed to make wagglers? Funny enough, yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. I made a few going to Thailand, and last time I went 2 years ago. So yeah, I just dig it. In fact, that's what I'm doing now. I'm talking about it. I'm actually digging out some floats that I got when I was in Thailand. This is a paste waggler. I don't know if you've ever seen those huge Siamese carp they catch, but this is what they use. They use these big, they put a blob of, it hardly takes any weight. What you do, you lock it on either side. You put your paste and you use they use these whips. Amazing, these whips they got, and they just plop it out in front of them, and of course it settles there, and as the paste disintegrates, it comes up and up and up through the water, and all of a sudden, whoop, off it goes, and you got a fish on the end. Fantastic. I was selling a few of these. I got a few left. If anyone's ever interested, just go to the Gold Medal Floats website. The other one is the Thai waggler as well. I've just had an order off a customer. I've only got a couple of these left, but they're fantastic little floats. I know they look a bit Mickey Mouse and a bit colourful, but they work well. In fact, it's a very adaptable float because we use them as sliders as well. What you do, this little swivel on the end, and above the swivel, of course, on the main line, you put a couple of rubber stops, and below you put 2 swan shots and a dropper. And you can fish up in the water with them. And if you want to go down, all you do is just push the rubber stops up the line, and you got a sliding waggler. Brilliant. Again, they're on the website. Have a look. So as I say, talking about that, about Secandus reed and so on. Yeah. Okay. Put that to one side a minute. Let's have a look. Good evening, James Flint. Nice to see you. Gary Webb, yeah, great 4 days fishing for you. Yeah, thank you very much. Great fishing. Richard Harvey, hiya mate. Well done last week. See you Wednesday. Yes, there's a match there Wednesday. It's the ABC qualifying matches, and there's two. There's one this Wednesday and one the Wednesday after. Well, of course, the Wednesday after I won't be able to make it because that's the eve I go to Thailand. So I just won't have time to do it, unfortunately. Evening, John Dunkley. Nice to see you on here. Oh, Stephen Stones. Good evening. Good evening to you. Andrew Gard. Evening, Clive. Good to sell Sunday at Docks. Shame you're swimming. Yeah, my mate Richie. It was all nice and quiet. I was catching fish, and all of a sudden it went to a blunk, and he actually fell in. And I know what it's like. I did want to laugh because I've been there, done it so many times, and basically his stand toppled over, and he went into the dock, and he was up to his neck in water. It was funny. A couple of lads all jumped up to help him, but I was catching fish at the time, and the fish and the noise of it must have frightened the fish off, and I stopped catching. Not dramatic, because I still went on to win the match. So, anyway, good evening, Gary Adams. Nice to see you. Okay, we're getting a few on you now. Yeah, I'm just going through a couple of little floats. This is something I'm thinking. Based on the paste waggler that they use in Thailand. This is what we call the funny float, and I first first got myself acquainted with this float when I was fishing on the Oxford Canal in the Lads. There's an eye on the bottom of the body, and all you do, you put your line through there and through the bottom, of course, and you settle it down, of course, to the tip, and by pulling it, the line or the pole, it actually comes up out of the water and then drops down again. And it's great for catching fish, sort of lifting and just off the bottom. So you got like a couple of inches, great with the bloodworm. So I was just thinking an idea for Thailand, maybe take a couple with me to Thailand. So my thoughts at the moment are in Thailand, because obviously I got to get prepared. Right. Graham Smith, your catapult acid, what size do you use on your catapults? Well, right, I talked about this before, Graham. I'll let you know now. It's basically surgical elastic. Why pay the huge amounts of money like you do for all this Drennan and MIDI and all that, when you can go on eBay and get surgical elastic just as good and half the price, and they do various diameters. So look at the diameter for your pouch and your catapult and just use it, Was it 4 mil, 3 mil? I don't know. But, it's cheap enough. You can buy a load of it, different sizes. Neil Smith, I mate, been fishing on the 7 at Talbot recently for roach. Oh, yeah. Couple of swims at 11 foot deep. Would you use ground bait and loose feed as I keep getting pestered with bleak? Oh, do you get bleak on the 7? Yeah, because last time I fished at Talbot, I was there with Russell and had a nice bag of roach. And I tell you what I done. I put a big pouch of hemp with some maggots in it and just blasted it. And of course, I was catching quality roach. I did try some mole ground bait, and that worked. Yeah, maybe that's the answer. Bit of mole ground bait, don't overfeed them. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, nice to see a few people on here already. It's just gone 7:10, so I'll start talking a little bit about last week. And if you've got any questions you want to just fire away as I'm rabbiting on, then I'll answer them as I can. Andrew goes with it. Hi, mate. Have you ever used the fake rubber maggots on hook bait? Well, I'll tell you about that now. I was thinking that they may save time when getting lots of bites and speed up your fishing for bleak. Well, I have tried it, but unfortunately, Adam, NFA rules, and I think they're still in existence now, that you can't use artificial baits. Otherwise, yeah, perhaps that would be the secret. But to be honest, when you put a maggot on, you can catch 10, 20 fish on skins. So I can't really see the advantage of using a rubber one, because I did try it and I missed a lot of bites. For some reason, the fish know they don't suck it right down. They grab it, but you miss a lot of bites using it. But good question. Hi, mate. Who's that? Anthony Locke. All right, Tony, you okay? Oh, sorry about that. I got to. Hope you're well, Tony. Graham. Craig Harrison. Hiya, mate. How many pints of maggots do you take with you on a 3-day match? I actually took 2 gallons and a gallon of casters, and I had a few spare as well. I probably used them all as well. No, in fact, I actually to do a top up from Woody on a Friday. Yeah, to get another 4 pints. So yes, there were a lot of bait there, a lot of bait. But don't let that put you off, lads, because it's a great place to go, honestly, this time of year. Okay, well, as I said, okay, Tony, I'm okay, mate. I'll be in Thailand on the 28th of December. Oh, I'll see you there, because I'm going 2 weeks' time. So, on the 25th, so I'll be there a month before you. Brilliant. Okay. Oh, by the way, Billy Makin said, Billy and is waiting for us to fish the matches over there. I spoke to John Harvey, and I'm not sure what John's doing these days. John and Dan, they seem to be doing their own thing, but I'll see if we can get them all back together. Is it, Tony? We'll have some good fun over there. Okay, let's have a look then. So yeah, last week was a great week on the Y, and it started on last Sunday. As you know, I put the vlog up, and it was the 3rd round of the Winter League, and we had a good team. We had a good team that week. We had Paul Bick. Now, Paul, tremendous angler. In fact, he fishes for Dorking, and he couldn't fish the other matches for us because he had commitments, but he came and fished for us. And well, if you know Paul, by the way, Paul Bick, he's a Riverfest champion. He's won the league on the Y. Even though he's not a local, he gets he gets the grip with that. I remember next to him on the 2 pegs radio on the charity match a couple of years ago. He won it as well. Big weights. So Paul fished for us, and I think he was second in the match with 91 pound, and on peg 99, that famous peg 99. Talk about that more about that peg now in a minute. Of course, we got Kevin Dix. He's from Bristol, a very good angler, and then we got Kevin Albee. Martin Challenger. If you guys probably don't know these names, but if you the local lads know who they are, So yeah, and then Chris Smith from Gloucester. So yeah, that's our team. So anyway, we come third. We come third, which is great. That's I think the week before, or we were last but bottom. So they were. So I think we pulled ourselves up a little bit. On that particular match, I drew peg 39, which is by the Pump House on the Y, if anyone knows what that is, and it's just 2 below where I fell in the year before. If you saw that vlog where I got soaking wet, but anyway, again, it was a high bank. I couldn't get down in the water, and you may have noticed I had to use I used a 17-foot rod. It was a bit awkward, not awkward, but it's a bit heavier than normal. And the reason being, because when you're high off the bank, when you pull your fish in and float, it needs to come off the water level, and of course, 17-foot rod when you're long trotting as well, you can mend the line better and so on. And it was a slow start because, again, I went for barbel for an hour and a half and didn't have any, and then ended up fishing the bolly on the same line, catching dace, chublets, and had a great little match, a great hour and a half. I ended up with 44 pound, 4 ounces. It's not bad, is it? In about probably 3.5 hours. And I knew the signs then. I think it's going to be, if I'm catching on that peg, then the pegs down in the town, what I call the town stretch, by the boathouse and that, they're going to fish. And they did, as I said, it was a couple of 90 pounds and 80 pounds. But anyway, I did quite well. Now, it was a bit unfortunate that Darren, who was below me, if you saw the vlog, he's a local lad and he knows what he's doing. He's piled the bait in, and he's ended up with 44 pound 9 ounces. He beat me by 5 ounces. And then Michael Johnson, the young lad above me, he had £44.12, and he said to me, he said, because he saw at the last hour how quick I was catching, he said, "Blimey, you've been catching like that all match." And I said, "I wish I had," because he said you were emptying it, and he thought I'd beaten him, but no, Paul just managed to beat me. And of course, Darren had a double weigh, and this is my bone of contention. Nothing against Darren, but the scalesman should have zeroed the scales, and because a net can easily gather 5 ounces of water, can it? So anyway, no sour grapes. I should have had more, but it was a great match, and as I say, that was the start of the week. And then, of course, the festival on the Wednesday. Now, on the Wednesday, you probably, you've seen the blog, I hope. And as you know, we actually had, let's have a look. I made some notes here, lads, because it's been a long week. And if I didn't make notes, I'll lose my way a little bit. So, so the festival started, and it was a great turnout. It was a full house. I mean, it's a waiting list to get on there. The reason I managed to make it is the fact I was on the list last year. The year before, I went to Thailand and I had to drop my place, and I wasn't guaranteed a place back. And the only reason I can manage to get in last year is because somebody dropped out, and of course, the COVID came along. We couldn't run the match. So anyway, I automatically thought I was going to be in the list again, and I wasn't. I was on the reserve list, and then I spoke to Dave Roberts, the organizer, and he said, "Well, there's people been waiting a long time to get on there." And although I was top of the list, if you like, and a friend of mine, Clive Roberts, who unfortunately got ill health at the moment, he had to drop out, so I took his place. So there we are. Anyway, so it was great to be in the actual. I think it was 60 anglers, yeah, and it turned out a great 3 days festival. I think it was actually. Let's have a look. Yeah. I don't think there was anyone missing. Everyone turned up. So as I say, it was a great start. Of course, if you saw the vlog, you will see Dave Roberts, the organizer, and it was a very poignant time when he mentioned about Mike Martin, who was one of our club anglers, Ray South, who was also a club angler, one of our members, and also their local. I think he was the one of the bailiffs, Dick Pritchard. They all passed away last year, so they've done a little bit of a standing ovation, and it was good words what Dave said. It's nice to remember these guys who were with us, and and unfortunately weren't. So, but there was a good thing come out that Ray South's family, they actually donated £500 into the into the kitty. So what Dave said he would do, and hopefully it'll carry on each year. He had a blind teams of 3. So all the names went to a hat, and 3 names were drawn out, and they formed a team. And nobody knew who they were fishing with, of course, until the end. And there was a first and a second prize, 300 and 200. And lucky enough, I drew with Clive Fletcher and I forgot the other guy's name. I'm sorry about that. I'll remember his name out in a minute. But anyway, we done well in that. But I'll come on to that now in a minute. So as I said, I do like to start on the bread. And if you see my blog, you see sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. It sort of you fall behind, you miss a trick, because. Anyway, when I drew this peg 49, this is on the Ash Path now, if anyone knows Belmont. And the Ash Path is opposite what they call the railing pegs, which is above the bridge. And the railing pegs, for some reason, they're outstanding pegs. It's only about 5 pegs, I think, or 4 pegs. And they're all outstanding pegs. And now the reason this is my own personal view, I think. Peg 74, which is the end peg, from there upwards, there's no more pegs on that side of the river, where on the Ash Path side, it goes all the way up to peg 1, right up to Brington. But on that side of the river, it doesn't. And I think that the fish got some sort of safety mechanism, knowing that they're not going to be caught, if you like, on that side of the river. I could be wrong. Maybe it's deeper. Maybe it's the shadows of the trees. Who knows? But for some reason, those pegs, and it's always a little bit unfair because you usually find the bottom 5 pegs above the bridge, which are opposite the railways, are usually in the same section in the Winter League. And again, they were in this festival. But anyway, because I remember the year before drawing the Ash Path, I won the Ash Path, but I didn't beat the pegs opposite. And again, this happened on the festival, which was a bit of a shame, really. But I won my 5 peg section, and I won some money, which is great. And just short of £50, and I fished the bread. Now, I think somebody mentioned, why didn't I fish the bread on the Friday? Well, anyway, the reason I fished the bread or decided to try the bread is that because knowing that there are fish on the railings, looking at the form from the day previously and the Sunday previously, there weren't huge weights, if you like, from my peg. There was like 30 odd pound, I think, was the top weight. And I thought, well, seeing there's a lot of fish on the other side, why not try and cast sort of over there and try and put a load of bait and try and draw them, over into my part of the river. Anyway, it worked. I ended up with £49, mainly all on the bread. I had a few on the maggots as well, bunches of maggots, and ended up, as you know, as I say, winning the 5 peg. But unfortunately, because I was in the pegs opposite in their zone, I actually was 5th in. So that I knew then after the first day it was going to be very, very difficult. Even if I won my next 2 sections or zones, which are pegs, which are sections of 10, it'd still be difficult to get in the main frame, because I think 6 points was the last one in the money, by the way. So already I accumulated 5 points. But anyway, regardless of that, there were still 2 great matches to come. And anyway, as you all know, I went on then on the second day, and I drew the peg 99. Now this peg 99 on the tennis courts, this is the peg that the previous day, Adrian Whittle. Now Adrian Whittle, as you know, one of the best anglers around, especially on the wide there, he won the match with £101. When I drew it, I thought, oh my God, I got some expectations here to live up to. Like, so anyway, so when I got to the peg, I looked at the peg, and it didn't look any different from all the others around me, to be honest. But I suppose, Adrian being Adrian, he managed to get a lot of fish out, and when he did, then I had, as I said, before I actually started fishing, what I done, I plumbed the depths, run a float through, run a stick through, run a little haven through, and a waggler. And in my opinion, the waggler was going through far much easier, if you like, and it's less tangles, if you like, because with stick floats, the line can sometimes flip back on itself, and the same with a bolly float. So I ended up fishing a waggler, and as you all know, I actually had a great day. £94, which is tremendous. I caught nearly all match. In fact, I had 3 mishaps on that match, which I think cost me, because £100 won it, £6 a fish, and I had 2 snap-offs because I fished £2.6 straight through, knowing that it was pointless putting a tail on because the fish were just grabbing all the bait. So basically, I think the shots bit through the line right on the waggler on the eye, and twice I had to tackle up, and so that cost me time. Plus, I hooked a duck as well. When you hook a duck, they fly up in the air. And, I tried to get the hook out and so on, and that again cost me time. So all in all, I should have won it, but I was second. But I was happy. Had a great match, and as you say, I ended up with £94 exactly, I think it was. Stephen Peters, nice to see you. Mark Sweeney, hi mate. Long last, the comment link is working. Oh, good, you got it working. Okay, well done. Neil Smith. Hi mate, do you like using barbed or barbless hooks? Right. I think I spoke about this last week. I like to use if I could use a barbless hook, I would. And when I do my coaching, I try to teach people to fish for the barbless hooks, but you have to keep a tight line on it. And I like to use micro barbs, and if not, squeeze them down with a little pair of pinches. So the barb is still there, but it's really small, so it becomes like a micro barb. That's that's what I think. Lucius, Clive, if you're catching chub on maggots and they spew a load of maggots up in the fish net, would you cut back on the feed? Well, the theory is when that happens, when they start coughing maggots up, is the fact that there's not that many fish in the swim. They're eating a lot of the baits. Well, yes and no, because I tell you why. And on the previous week, when I was up at Brainton, when I had that another 44 pound, um, I had the same thing then. The fish were coughing up the maggots, and I thought, should I, cut back on the feed? But instead, I went the opposite. I started blasting more in, and for some reason, I had another shoal of fish move in, and that's the thing. You're in a quandary. Do you cut back? Depends on your swim. You look at your swim. Is there possibilities of drawing more fish up or more fish dropping down? So yeah, uh, I my theory is that you want to try and get more fish in the swim. So instead of cutting back on it, I know it's not logical. You actually start blasting more in, because then you bring another show. But that could go wrong, mate. So don't take my word for it. But it's a gamble you got to take. Uh, Wayne Lawrence, hi mate. Love watching your fishing videos. Thank you very much for that. Oh, Mark Sweeney, how do you connect your main line to the whip? Is it via the fixed connector or using 4 bits of silicone bands? I use both, to be honest, Mark, and I did mention about it. If you can get away and use an internal elastic tip, you're better off really than a flick tip. Only because you got a little bit of buffer when you hook a bigger fish. That's all. Okay, right now. What I'm going to do, which I haven't done it before, but I'm going to do it this time. I'm actually going to go back on the comments over the previous weeks, over the previous week, just because if people have taken the time to leave a comment, and ask a question, then I should ask, I should answer it, to be honest. So anyway, I'm going to go back to the day one, which is on the Wednesday, and as I said. I would say it's got to be like the best match river in the UK. To produce weights like that, totally awesome. Well done. That was off. I got his name. I forgot to put his name down. But yes, you are right. The fish this time of the year, over the last few years, and as far as I can remember, this time of year the fish accumulate around the Hereford and Belmont section. I don't know whether what it is, whether it's they're looking for the deeper water or the fish just coming there for wintering. They're certainly not like coming for spawning, are they? They're coming there for food to feed, which brings me back to my theory, which I shall talk about later on, because although we're catching huge bags of fish, I don't think it's a good sign. Okay, that's what I'm going to say for the moment. I'm going to come back to that in a minute and talk a little bit more about that. Okay, Mike Bennett. He said, I'm glad to see that Hadrian bounced back to form, scraping in with 101 pound. Yeah, I would hate to be the scale to weigh him in. I can't count that high. Nice one, Mike. Paul Chapman. I don't know if he's on here today, Paul, but Paul, perhaps a question for Monday evening. Oh, right, okay. Having watched your brilliant performance on the Y recently, it strikes me how important it is to get organised with your side tray to feed that volume of bait. Yes, you are right. On fast forward, you spend so much time leaning forward, it just brought it home. Apart from the inevitable bad luck, I'm sure a big side tray or platform would save vital minutes. Just an observation, mate. Crack in 3 days, Clive. Yes, Paul, you are correct. I've got quite a big tray on the side of me, but you can only put so much on there, and if you've got like casters, maggots, and hemp, you've got nowhere to put a big bucket of ground bait. So I put the ground bait sort of just in front of me. So when I'm leaning forward, that's what I'm doing, but it's not far away. obviously I want to try and make sure that you've got enough bait so you haven't got to get up off your seat and go and mix it. So make sure you got it there. So that's a very good point, Dan, Paul. Thanks for asking that one. Richard Harvey, quick one, Clive. Do you use a drill to mix your ground bait? No, I don't, Richard. First of all, I can't stand the noise of it on the bank. Secondly, I can't afford one. Thirdly, no, I'd rather feel my ground bait. I like to feel it. I like to mix it. I like to get the smell of my hands. And, I'm the old traditionalist, you know what I mean? All these drills, they're fine, but I suppose if you're mixing a lot, maybe, but I like to get my hand around it, sieve it, get it through the sieve. If sometimes you don't have to sieve it, So no, Paul, I don't use a drill. Perhaps the old-fashioned type, I suppose. Paul Jackson, hiya, mate. Thoughts on using bread on Avon and Severn, some type of fish chub, but not as successful. Paul, I don't know if you know the story. I'll quickly tell you about this one because going back 25 years ago, we were fishing Belmont and doing quite well with the bread as usual. And a couple of lads went up. A chap named Doug Ormbro and Clive Roberts went up to the Severn at Bewdley, and they fished a match, and they were amazed at the amount of chub up there. Anyway, they come back and said, I should go up there and give it a go. I said, okay. So I went up there, Paul, with bread, and I can't remember exactly what I drew now, but anyway, I thought, right, mix the bread up, starts fishing the bread. Now, it was a hard day. It's a winter day, and anyway, I started catching chub. Halfway through the match, I looked around, there's a big audience, about 20, 30 of them all watching me catching chub, on the bread, because obviously I hadn't been fishing. Anyway, I won the match with 20 or 30 pounds, I can't remember now. But anyway, the following week, I went up there with the bread. Everyone had the bread with them. But I had some great comments because they said Fred the bread was the last one to win a match with the bread on it. And anyway, that match I came fourth. And then I didn't go back again. I didn't take advantage, and I didn't go back for many, many years. And by then, of course, Babel had moved in and spawned, and it was more of the Babel water than the chub water. But yes, I'm sure bread still works. You just have the confidence to do it. That's all, Paul. Yeah, but a great question. Thanks for asking. Right, coming back to, as I say, the Wednesday match, and these are some of the comments. Right. John Isherwood, that sniper nearly had you, Clive. Well done for taking cover in time. I'm not sure what he meant by that. Perhaps you can tell me. Okay, Mike Patterson. Another great day's fishing, Clive. Weights coming off that river are fantastic. Yes, they are. At this moment in time, it's the best it's ever been. Last year, because of the COVID, nobody really knew. The year before was quite good. It seems to be gradually getting better, the weights, but is there a reason behind it? I got a theory on that, but I'll talk to you about that in a minute. It's nice to pick a few bob up. You've got to wonder how they're managing those top weights. Yeah, well, if you look at the results at the end, you'll see they're all young guys, somebody made a comment here about my age, which I'll talk about in a minute, but, obviously, experience can't beat youth sometimes. And, if you got the youth behind you and you got your physical ability, you haven't got to wear glasses, for example, and, you're physically stronger, then obviously when it comes to big weights of fish, just like commercials, the younger lads are doing it better, aren't they, David Brown, hiya, mate. Nice to see you. Devonshire. Hiya, Derek. All right. I Clive, 2 questions. Why don't those who weigh fishing comps use a tripod? Good question, that, yeah, to ease the way in. And secondly, when fishing rivers, why not stand and fish in the winter instead of sitting on the box? Well, I did on our Wednesday, although you can see it, I actually stood up to fish that. I suppose it's the comfort element side of it, Derek. If you're nice and comfortable, I find if you're comfortable, you stand there for 5 hours, sometimes can be a bit achy, so sitting down in a comfortable position, I think is better. That's my own personal view. Although when we were young, we used to stand up and fish rivers, but now, we all fish, most of them fish sitting down, so it's a good question. David Brown, okay. Do you have a performance for floats in different depths of water? do you have a preference for floating difference? Yes. Well, obviously, depending on the flow, depending on the depth, depending then on the amount of shots. But basically, the floats are all going to be the same, either bollies or loafers or sticks. Obviously, in deep water, I'd be careful not to maybe fish a waggler because unless it's a very heavy truncheon type of waggler. Okay, Mark Sweeney, are you still having a dabble on the tap? So I fancy having a go above the weir at Rada. Okay, more than likely, Mark. But as I say, I'm off to Thailand next week, or the week after. So I'm not sure who's going to run them. But again, yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit about the tap now in a minute. I don't keep saying put everything off at the moment. Okay. Trevor, talk. You as one of Trevor, not my old mate. Nothing wrong with the weigh-in. Given the circumstances of awkward banks and sheer quality of fish, 2 nets used and the ring pulled through should be right. What he's talking about, right, is that at the start of the festival, because of the weights, Dave suggested that we should take 2 nets with us, because and average £40 per net or £50 at the most. I went, I took 2 nets, and so do a lot of others, but some never, unfortunately. Some don't listen, but it is right in fish safety. You've got to look after your fish, haven't you? And I think, and when you're fishing up the high banks, yes, it is awkward to drag the fish up. You try, pick £50 up. I know somebody mentioned about Mike on the Sunday. Yeah, £44. I mean, he's a young lad. He should be strong, but he struggled to. Really, 2 people should have helped him with a net of fish, because £40 like a sack of potatoes almost, isn't it? So anyway, yeah. So yes, so that's a good point then for Trevor. Neil Smith, beautiful river fishing, well done, Clive. Thank you, Neil. Barry Millward, what a river, well done, thank you. And Victor Brooks did a good job weighing in. Stan Hay, good luck for the festival. Oh yeah, yes. There's some really nice guys there, and I got to know a few anglers that who follow the vlogs, by the way, which is nice. Rusty Graves. Adrian, again, the weights are better than most commercials this time of year. You're right. Yeah, fantastic. And also then, and next question, really need some proper steps put in the pegs and the weigh-in. Can't they get a proper weigh set up? Can't fault the fish, Yes, that's something they got to look at. That's Philip Taylor, that was. Yeah, you are right, Philip. You have to look at that, I think. In light of these big bags of fish, and as somebody mentioned, a tripod, would probably be better. Oh, there's Paul. I made. It was Martin Chandru who made up the team of 3. Oh no, it wasn't Martin with me. Martin was with Spud, and Brian Rigby's on you. Brian, good evening. Hope to see you. Yes, Brian. Yes, so nice to see you on you. And it was Brian who stepped in for the photograph of Spud, because there was Spud, Martin Challenger, and Rory, and they actually won that the Royce South first. They were first and we were second, as I mentioned. And Brian actually, yes, because I don't know why he stepped in. I suppose he's the same size or looks like Spud. I don't know, but other Brian. Yes. So that was that team there. Let's have a look. Bertie Bird, Clive, didn't appear to be much bleak in the 3-day festival. How did you avoid them? Well, I'm sure the bleak were there, but a lot of people, you see, a week or so ago, bleak were a target because Brian, for example, Brian Rigby, he's one of the best at bleaking on there, and he was averaging nearly £50. And but of course, when the roach moved in, you needed more than £50, because I tell you, catching £50 of bleak is going some. Not many people have achieved that, and as I say, it was much easier to catch the roach and even the chub, and soon if the dates move in again, it's pointless targeting the bleak. You have to. So in a way, I think a lot of people actually avoided the bleak. Although there were some pegs I'm sure if they were gone for bleak, they would have had more than they caught, if that makes sense. So yes, that's a good point. That Stephen Peters, do you ever fish the slider instead of the feeder? Oh, do you mean on the dock? Yes, I have done it, Stephen, and I did mention this before that um, I was fishing the feeder. Sorry, I was fishing the slider, and there was a guy next to me, and we both hooked a bream at the same time. By the time we brought out the depth of water, he landed his, and he was back out fishing before I could land my fish. So although a slider works, the feed is much quicker. Okay, and that's the reason why I don't use that slider that much on the dock.
Would like to talk to Clive Branson.
Hi, Kev. Sorry to Kevin. I'm live stream at the moment on YouTube. Right, speak to you later. As Kevin Dix, one of the lads, I think he's talking about Wednesday. I think he wants to know a little bit more information about Wednesday. Okay, let's have a look then. So just coming back to the last few comments on the Wednesday match. Michael Molnar. Now he's a German guy who I met in Thailand, and he says good fishing it is. Yes, it is. And Crete is from Bangkok. He's actually living in Bangkok. He's a former German international angler. So there, that's great, isn't it? You got all these anglers all over the world, coming. I think there's a Dutch guy on here as well who's on here quite often. Peter Jones, sorry, Clive, but it was difficult. Oh, right, now this is, I don't know what to say about this. Sorry, Clive, but it was difficult video to watch with no view of what you were doing or sight of the fish. Yes, I've got to admit, Peter, it was and the absence of a commentary or dialogue on the screen made it unwatchable. Well done on the weight, though. It must have been a tricky off the high bank. Yes, as I said, Peter, it was high off the bank. I didn't have anywhere to position the camera, so only right behind me. So it did obscure the water a little bit. Hopefully you saw enough. I mean, you've seen me cast in and that, and at the end of the day, there's not much you can actually talk about sometimes unless you're doing a teaching video or something like that. So, as I say, these vlogs are really saves me writing about them. That's all. I'd rather film them and people can actually see, warts and all. I get my tangles and I like everybody else, and you see it. You see as it happens. But hopefully you can still learn a few things. There are little tips I sort of put in, and of course that's one of the reasons why I do these live question and answers, so that people can ask you questions afterwards. Okay, and last one on the Wednesday was Tokyo U. Oh, must be the worst weigh-in he's ever seen. Well, as I say, unfortunately, he may have hit a lot of the weighers in with these huge amounts of fish, and that, but I'm sure we'll get it right, because match anglers at the end of the day, they are very fish conservatives. They will look after their fish, and they will get it right. So Oh, Gary Webb, hi mate. Clive Fletcher was the third team member, I think. Yeah, that's right. It was myself, Clive Fletcher. I'm trying to think. He's an Irish guy. Oh, what's his name? I'll think of it now. So you could Henry, Stephen Henry. Yeah, he was the third man. Yeah, Mark Sweeney. Would be nice to have some pity camphor as well, Clive. But your vids from the previous match. Yeah, I did try that once. Yeah. And I had two of them, and I don't know, I've lost them somewhere. Russell Henry, that's it. Russell Henry, that's the one. Well done. Thanks, Mark. Okay, so anyway, coming back to the Thursday match. Again, as I mentioned, I drew 99, which is the one that Adrian Whittle had the day before. And the one that Paul Bick had on the Sunday, Paul had 91, and Adrian had 101. So I knew I was going to a good area. And as I said, and when I got there, basically I tried the waggler through, as I said. I tried the stick, and I tried the volley, and I tried to work out and the waggler was far easier because I had a plan then. I thought, well, I'm going to fish, because I spoke to Adrian about it, by the way, and he was telling me what he'd done with the stick. And so what I done, I fished about 4 rod lengths out, and I loose fed about a rod length out. So if I'd missed the bite out there, it would naturally come in onto the other line, and if I didn't get a fish there, I get one inside. In fact, I got more roach on the inside, and further out, I got more chublets. So but it was a nice little rhythm I got into, and it's a shame that I snapped up twice and hooked the duck. If I hadn't done that, I may have done the £100. But as I said, Lee, what can I say about Lee? He's a Welsh angler. He's he's like Marmite. You either like him or hate him. But really, he's a really good, cracking angler, and he won the match. He won it with a £100 of peg 92, and he fished a pole, and apparently he didn't have any tangles or any mishaps. So I think that's so. Yeah. Gary Webb, Russell Henry, that's the one. Yeah, nice guy, actually, Russell. Yeah, he's a hard angler to beat. I've been next to him in a couple of. In fact, the week before, on the second match, he beat me for section money when I had that 30-odd pound of bleak. He had £32 further down, and he done me for section money. So good angler, yeah, Russell Henry. So yeah. Thankfully, we were all in the same team, so we managed to pick up some money. Okay, so anyway, so on the Thursday, as I say, I ended up having a great match, second in the match. So I picked up. I said to Spud Murphy, who runs the Super Bowl, I said, "It's the first pickup I've had off him in about 2 years." So anyway, that was good. But anyway, coming back to a couple of the questions on that day, right. Andrew Paul Manton. I don't know how to take this when he says, "It baffles me that after all this time you still get the motivation to fish as much as you do at 67. You are truly an inspiration to all river fishermen." Well, thank you very much, Andrew. But I got to say, I'm actually 70, nearly 71. So thanks for the compliment of 61, 67. Dennis Howard. Great catch, Clive. Well done. What a fantastic river the Wye is. Unbelievable weights. Really need to sort out the 2-net rule. Yeah. Though too many fish for 1 net. The anti-angling mob would have a field day watching the weigh-in. Good luck in the round. Right. Well, yeah, you are right, Dennis. Again, it's something they got to get right. Don't forget, this day and age, in particular, I take I video everything, and people can actually see what goes on. This never went. This didn't happen years ago, so nobody was aware of it. But more people are aware of it now. So yes, you're right. I'm sure you we'll try not to be too long on you tonight, lads, because obviously you got England playing San Marino. Well, they're going to beat San Marino, but by how many, I don't know. But I see they won 1-0 already. Anyway, let's get back to this. Right. Gazellis, brilliant effort, Clive. Can't wait for round 3. Good luck. Yeah, okay. That was that. Barry Millwood, brilliant, Clive. Well done. What an amazing river. Best of luck for day 3. Thank you. James Glynn, exceptional angling, Clive. True professionals shone through. Well done, sir. Oh, thank you, James. Nick Sparks, I noticed that they didn't zero the scales after each weigh in. Keep up the good work, Clive. Well, yes, I brought this up, Nick, at the very start on the Wednesday, only because the previous Sunday, the angler next to me weighed in twice, and they didn't zero the scales, and he beat me by 5 ounces. So yeah, I did bring that up, and I'm surprised that they should have zeroed them. I think they did in my section. So just to make that clear. Okay, right, Richard Bocum. Hello, Clive. I watched loads of your vlogs. I've learned loads and enjoyed them, but they would be so much more useful and watchable if we could see what your hands are up to. Good point, Richard. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I need to start doing something like that. I need to sort of have a camera on the side as well. So that's a very good point then, Richard. Let's go back to some live questions. Right, Stuart Morris. Hi, Clive. Hope you're well. The Wye is on fire. I've had some great catches, some great fishing. Good to watch. Thanks, Stuart. Yeah, it's great. R1 Rouse says it. Evening, Clive. What side of river are the railings? Never been up there, but joined Hereford in January. Right, it's opposite the boats where the boats are. It's opposite side, but further upriver. That makes sense. It should be the old railway bridge, but it's now a footbridge, and it's just above there. Absolutely solid, the fish, for some reason, and they always have been. I remember going back a couple of years ago when I know people think there's some tremendous weight here, but I remember fishing at some matches 10 years ago, and there was 100-pound bags of chub caught then. I'm trying to think the guy's name. One guy, I'll think of it in a minute, but he actually won a match with 114 pounds. So there's a few, and for 3 weeks running there were 100-pound bags. So this is nothing new. What was happening now at the moment, So anyway, Peter Jones, Clive, not being critical, your vlog quality, just feedback. Wish I'd had you on YouTube when I actually fish rivers. Too old now. I would have caught sheds loads more of fish. Oh, thanks, Pete. Yeah, well, I'm still at it. It is hard work these days, those long walks, especially if you keep drawing a section like I do. Andrew Gadd, the way in at the docks on Sunday was a bit hectic. Yes. Oh, the way in at the docks on Sunday was a bit hectic. Yeah. One must be caught, really, was it? Okay, right, let's get back to this then. So then, Richard, Sean, Tracy, well done, Clive. Great day for you. What an amazing river. Quality fishing from you, Clive, on a great natural river, which is what I think is real fishing. Yeah, that's why I go fishing, river fishing. I'd rather fish rivers any time, The inside line said, bloody awesome, mate. Thank you. And Pat Morrissey, nearly 200 pound of fish off the same peg in 2 days. Yeah, that was amazing, wasn't it? But actually, when you think of Paul Beck's, that's 300 in a couple of days as well. Has the Y taken a detour through Ireland? That's a good one, Pat. Yeah, because you're Irish. I know, yeah. Reminds you of the old Irish days. Mike Patterson, great net, Clive, and no pike. Do you know, I did actually get taken on that Wednesday. I did get taken by one pike, but that's only one I saw, and I managed to get the fish out of his mouth anyway. And well done on the video and the result. Thank you. Bertie Bird again. Another great video, Clive. Well done. Where have all the bleak gone? Well, they're still there, but perhaps not in the numbers that they were, but they are still there, I think. Neil Smith, get in there, Clive. The maestro nearly done it. Brilliant way, Clive. Thank you. Daniel Canel. Hello, Clive. Congratulations. I'm very happy for you. Daniel from France. Oh, okay. Nice to see somebody from Naglik come in from France looking at the vlogs. Yeah, maybe you can learn a thing from us. No, we're joking. We learned off you all them years ago. If it wasn't for the French, we would have been well behind, I think, the French and the Italians, Belgians, and Dutch. Oh, I go on. Okay, Mike Fowler, fishing fun. What a venue, best river fishing in the country. Yeah, I got to admit, I was, I don't want to get too, how should I say, controversial, but when the Riverfest got switched from the Y, and don't get me wrong, I mean, the Shrewsbury was okay, a good venue, and so's the Trent, but I still think the Y is still the best in the country, Paul Chapman again, no rush or flapping, just a solid performance, fantastic weight. Don't mind coming second to a fellow Welshman. Yeah, nice one, Paul. I think I've mentioned that. Oh, Lucius on here again. If you hadn't had those breakages, Clive, you would have been close, I reckon. Yeah, I would have. Thanks, mate. Yeah. Dave Brown, class always shows. Thank you, Dave. Tim Ford, right, from Bristol Way. What happened to the two-net rule? Well, yeah, I don't know what happened then, Tim. Perhaps I should have. Mike Bennett, well done, that man. Thank you. And Tom, yeah. Okay, well, that was the comments from the Thursday, and I am thankful, and thank you for all the guys who've taken the time to actually, make a comment, because without the feedback of you guys, then I feel as if I feel happy that I'm making you happy, if that makes sense. I know, getting all emotional, Okay. Let's have Michael Newton. Clive, have you been losing? Do you know, you're the first one to notice that? Yeah. I am. I know you can see my neck starting to. Yeah, I am losing it on purpose, by the way, only because I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I've gone online. Worst thing you should do, and I'm following this holistic doctor, and he's telling me how to get your sugar diabetes reversed, and that's by losing weight, not eating sweet things, and and exercising and all that. So yeah, I am losing weight. I feel better for it, by the way. Yeah, yeah, I do. It's hard work, mind, because I do miss the old sweets and things. Right, Mohammed Raphael, a 6-year-old. What do you, hang on, what do you think about fishing being a waste of time? What do I think? Are you crazy? You're not a fisherman, are you, Mohammed? No, I tell you what, you ask any angler, it's a drug, and once it gets into your system, you'll never be able to get shift of it. It's there, and if you're a match angler, then you got the enjoyment of not only fishing for fish, you're competing against the other anglers. Yeah, if you don't go fishing, Mohammed, take it up. Honestly, you'll enjoy it. Mark Sweeney, would be nice to see you at Dolly here next year on the Waggler again. Putting the pathway in December, making a better and safer access for all. Yeah, that's a great venue, that, by the way, at Dolly. Yeah. Because I go back fishing it many years, Mark, when I was a youngster, and we Dolly always fished quite well. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one, that mate. Birdie Bird, did you stay on the Waggler the whole match at the tennis course? Yes, I did. I did, and uh, yeah, what I should have done, and it's in hindsight, like everything. And I noticed all these top anglers, Hadrian and a few of them, they have double or even treble um, identical kits. So if one gets trashed, they're not worrying about, they're just putting it down, grabbing the other one. And in hindsight, that's something I should have done, bit more professional than I should have done. I would have done. I'd definitely do it next time that way, especially when I had a big head of fish like that. Okay, Andrew Gard again. River Avon fish well. So, yes, I noticed that. Yeah, 181 pounds. It's on the Bristol Avon now. See, so 180. I think that who's that? Was that Chris Power? Chris Power, I think, did he? 100. Yeah, it's a huge weight. And 94 pound and a 70 pound and a few 30s and a few 20s. That was the poppy match. Oh, yeah, I did see the results, Andrew. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, great. I mean, normally I used to fish the poppy matches, but after the while, I just too knackered, really. I just wanted a local one, and I went down the dock, and as you know, I won that one anyway. So. What's this? Stephen Peters. I wish they would move some of the roads to Evesham. It'd be great if they did. Do you know what? I didn't know this. I think somebody was telling me that the dace you got in Evesham, they actually originally came from the Wye. They used to net the Wye, or not net the Wye. They used to catch the fish on the Wye and bring them back and put them in the Avon. So I was told. Yeah, and they don't do that anymore, of course. And they've gone, haven't they? Neil Smith, I've got diabetes. It's bloody nightmare with diet. Can't hardly even eat bread. Yeah, all the carbs. Yeah, I stopped eating all the carbs, and that. Yeah, it is. But if you can get it under control, Neil, I was told that you'd certainly get healthier. Okay, now the Friday, the last one. Now, try not to bore you too much longer. Now it's 8:00. Right, Paul Chapman, great 3 days. Festival could remember for years to come. Yes, Paul, I think you're right there. It's going to be one of them festivals that that will go down in memory for a lot of guys. Magic Man fan, another great video, Clive. Lovely to see those amazing weights across the board. Like the fact that you cover the whole experience of matches in your videos, from the draw to the presentation with banter included. Yes, I know this is what I'm trying to do. You see, when I do, I like to do the draw. I try to create the atmosphere so that the guys, because I had comments from before where some guys don't go match fishing anymore, or either because they can't or unable to, and it's great to bring back memories, and I feel like if I can show it all the aspects of it, then it's great, because some of these guys who can't get out, they can follow it, and I get some really nice comments off them. Um, I try to put it myself in their shoes, thinking, well, if I'm watching do I just want to watch fishing? No, I want to see the end bit. I want to see the beginning. I want to, see all of it if we can. So yeah, that's a good comment there. Barry Mill, well, great set of vlogs covering great festival. Well done, Clive. Yeah. Stephen Rogers, well done, Clive. Got to be happy with the outcome. Yeah, because at the end of the day, as I said, I picked up 3 days running. I picked up money and I caught fish, made some vlogs, and made some new friends, if you like, guys who I never spoke to before, who've turned up. Guys from Leeds and places like that. Yeah. So yeah, it's really really nice. Good festival. Tony Matthews, well done, Clive, picking up each day. Oh, there you are. And on every peg too. Yeah, that. As I said before, I do like to fish these small mini sections because it gives you something to go for. I know some guys rather all the money put into one pot and just spread it between the top 3 or 4. But no, I prefer the money spread out because it gives everyone a chance of picking up some money. And I always have a theory: if you can beat everyone around you in your section, and your section happens to be the best section on the river, then you win the match. So that's the bonus behind it all. So yeah. Andrew Paul Manton, I'd like to thank Clive Roberts for putting me right about your age. Okay, which means it's more remarkable that you fish as much as you do. To think I used to fish against you on the Avon at the Severn over 40 years ago. You're a true gent. Okay, Andrew, I didn't know that. I'm sure if I saw you, I'd remember you. Irvin Hornby, magic 3 days on a brilliant river. Well done, Clive. Thank you. Neil Smith, great festival, Clive. Well done. Love the band at the end. Brilliant weights. Yeah. Stephen Cotis, just shows how important it is to ring the changes to find the right method. I think well, you're right there, Steve, because I went on that feed, and the reason, right, I haven't mentioned what happened on the Friday, but when I drew peg 4, it was basically an out and out barbel area because there was 60 odd pound on the Wednesday. One of our lads in our club, well, he's head of a lad. And I thought, well, but they get toothache. That's the trouble, don't they? Catch barbel, they're not going to stay there. And anyway, the second day, I think there was 30 pound off it. So when I got there, I was like this, whether the barbel going to go. But I've also seen barbel off that peg on previous occasions. So anyway, I had a word with Woody, the local tackle shop, on the morning. He told me where they are. They're like a gravel bed opposite. And so I went across and I did persevere a long time, maybe hour and a half on it. But I kept feeding the inside line just in case, and when I did come in, they were there. I had a few roach, not every chub, but they were there every, I'd get 1 or 2, then nothing, the 1 or 2, nothing. And then one stage I must have had 4 or 5 on a trot, but then they disappeared. Then a couple little days, but I had a nice weight at the end, 27 pound 8 ounces. And I beat Peter Golden, who's a local lad, who, by the way, used to run these matches. And he was telling me for over 40 years, he retired from running the matches, but he fishes them himself. Nice lad, and he had 27. I beat him by 8 ounces, so I won the section. Had another 50 quid for that. So yeah, all in all, I think about 400 quid I picked up for the, but besides the money side of it, it was great. I was 11th overall, by the way, and as I mentioned before, you need 6 points to come 6. And if you look at the results, if you go back on the vlog and see all the guys who picked the money up, they're all young, they're all the top of their tree. They're brilliant anglers, So it was going to be hard to get there. I'm not saying I can't, because you got to be positive about these things. I think Brian, if he's still on you, he'll tell you. You've got to keep going, and you've got to have that positive attitude that you can do it. Let's have a look at this. Right, Neil. Right, Stuart Morris, Clive, will you be fish any of the open matches at the Severn of Shrewsbury this year? I doubt Stuart. I tell you why, because I'm off to Thailand in 2 weeks' time, and I'm there for 2 months, possibly 3 months. I'm hoping to do some blogs and that when I'm over there. Some fishing about Thailand, a little bit of match fishing, hopefully. So I doubt very much, Stuart, I will be there this year, unfortunately. Michael Newton, Clive, looking back, if you could choose any Ezra, Clive, sorry, wrong spelling. Any time you fish back, what would it be? Sorry, all right. I don't know what era. What era? I mean, of course, I go back to the international days when I was young, fit, 35. I thought the world was at my feet. Winning world champion. Funny enough, talking about that, I got this out. I don't know if you've seen this before, guys, but it's a big urn. This is my world championships trophy. Beautiful trophy. I dust it off now and again. I say, I put my ashes in this. This would be my urn. But this is, it's all stamped on the bottom. Yeah, this was my trophy. I also had a silver ship as well, which my son's, I gave to my son, who's up, well, he's gone to university now, but I'll try and get that back off him one day. But there you are. That's my world championships, and it was in that era when I was in the 30, 35. Didn't need glasses. Your strength was there. Your ambitions, and as I say, thankfully, I achieved everything I wanted to in fishing, in a sense. In world championships and there's obviously lots of other matches I wish I could have won, but but I'm still at it. I'm still going, and it's like Andrew Manton said, well, I'm still at it and still going to 70, and it's great, Oh, Bertie Bird, I appreciate there's probably more work, but find your vlogs for the talk over very informative, and your explanation on decision making as the macro. Okay, then, but yeah, I might do that. I might start doing a bit more voiceover, because then, and when I'm watching it back myself, I can actually explain it a little bit, because I'm doing things sometimes that I know the reason I'm doing it, because it's second nature. I've done this so many times, and it's a good idea to be able to put it across to the viewers. Yeah, okay, that's a good point there, mate. Phil Hunt, have a great trip, Clive. Stay safe. I will. Thank you, mate. Yeah. Dave Cullen, hiya, mate. You just arrived, do you? Okay, right. I'll just finish off these few other comments now, if I can. Right, Fitman 42. Great videos, Clive, and some fabulous weights. Is the Belmont stretch of the Y on a day ticket? Love to have a couple of days down there. Yes, you're going to Woody's tackle shop. It's £10 a day, and he'll put you right on where to go. So any guys want to get down to want to fish the Y this time of the year where there's loads of fish, then yeah, that's the place. Get down to Woody's tackle shop. You can get your bait, you get your tackle shop, get all your tackle. He'll advise you what tackle to use, and you'll enjoy yourselves. Great. But just give him a call first, just in case there's any matches, because you don't want to go down there and find there's a competition on, because there are a few competitions coming up there. Mark Sweeney, do any of your children match fish or pleasure angling? No, Mark, my lad never took to fishing, unfortunately, which is a shame. And my daughters, I took them fishing, but no. It's a shame, really, isn't it? Because talking about that, no, I didn't know. I got fishing. I seem to be drawing the same section as Rob Brennan. Now, I didn't know until I was told yesterday by Jeff that Rob Brennan is actually Joe Brennan's son. And I used to know Joe very well. And in fact, when I ever see Joe, I always say hello to him, and that was his son. And I'm not surprised now. I thought, well, where's he come from? All of a sudden, because he in the Winter League, he ended up with 46 pound of roach. I thought, oh, he's fishing for Woodies at the time. I thought I didn't know who he was. And then he fished I think he won 2 of his sections in the festival, and he come 5th overall, I think. And no, I can understand why, because with the pedigree of his dad, Joe Brennan, which was one of the best anglers around at the time, then I can understand. So yeah, it's a shame that the that my son didn't go fishing. It's great to be able to pass something on, isn't it? To your kids. Okay. Right, let's get back to this then. Right, just finish these few up now. Andy Clark, great work, Clive. What a river, yeah. Teddy Matthews, well done, Clive. Fantastic event. What a venue, yeah. Alan Witham, well done, Mr. Branson. Oh, okay. I don't think you could have done much more. I should think you'll see for the next 3 days. Yeah, I was absolutely knackered. You're quite right, Alan. Gloria Jakeman, great vessel and well done. Thanks for sharing. Regards, Mick. Okay, yeah. So Gloria must be his wife. Okay, Mick, if you're watching. Mike Bennett, Clive, you won enough money to buy a new keep net. Yeah, you're probably right. I know. Yeah, because my keep net's still knackered. I got to try and repair it. Stephen Grange, well done, Clive. Rusty Graves, has anyone noticed that it's mainly older lads, that as all the youngsters are on the carp holes? That is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Do you know, I remember fishing a couple of years ago at the Evesham, and on the veterans match, I think it was a sellout. And the following day, or the following week, there was a youngsters match, and there's only 6 turned up. That shows the sign of the times. Yeah, sad that. Okay, Jeff Owens, unlucky Clive not framing, but what a great vessel. Not a carp inside. Yeah, I think you had a couple of thumbs up on that. Rusty Graves again. It's Rob Brennan's Joe's son. Yeah, right. Now, you asked a question. Is Rob Brennan Joe's son? Yes, Rusty. No, I didn't know that. I was talking to Jeff yesterday because I drew next to Jeff Brayley. If people know Jeff Brayley's a class angler, and he didn't have a very good day yesterday. He only had 5 fish. Mind you, he didn't fish the tip. He only fished he took his chance on the whip, And if the fish had gone, he would have been hard to beat. Stephen Coates, total fish caught in total. Right. First class angling there, Clive. Unbelievable total amount of fish caught in total by all. Yeah, I think it was something like nearly 2 ton of fish, I think. I didn't think anything could be as bad as the weigh-in for the last match, but this takes. Right, okay. I won't mention the words where you mentioned it. But what about 1 or 2 nets being used? Some bags of fish were out of the water way too long. The first angler had the fish out on the banks for almost 5 minutes. Was it that long? I don't know. I think that might be a bit of an exaggerating there, Stephen. I don't think they would have had them out for 5 minutes. But I think it has. As I say, we have got a few lessons to learn. Now, look, match fishing is match fishing. You're going to catch the fish, you're going to keep them in the net, and then you're going to weigh them. So they're going to go through some sort of stress. I know we try to keep the stress to a minimum, and I think we can learn and we have to do things better. As you say, 2 nets, definitely, and the fish not rolled on the net. I think they should be, the rings peeled back. The other way is like I mentioned on a vlog or a week or 2 ago, you can roll the fish, but not roll them, but actually feed the net up to the top rim, then lift the net up, and that way they're not rolling anywhere. They're straight up to the top of the net into the scales. That's the way I would prefer to do it. But there you are. Rusty Grave. How did Adrian get on? Well, Adrian, as I said, he got on that particular day. I think what did he do? Yeah, he was in the peg 61 or 62, and I think he won the section again. So he made the main frame as well. So yeah, great angler, Adrian, as I mentioned before. Raymond Haynes looks like a lovely piece of water. It is. It's through the centre of Hereford, Belmont, and Anguilla. Anguilla. That, my friend, is solid. He's right, and I think I'll leave it at that because that was the last comment. Absolutely solid, but this is where I'm a little bit optimistic. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story first before I go on to this. But let me just finish this. Other questions coming through. Neil Smith, what line do you use on the stick float? I've been using Drennan float fish, but thinking about changing. Yeah, Drennan's okay. I wouldn't change if you had to. I'm not sure what this Dave Harrow's map line is like. I am used it myself. I've used Bayer, but not the Drennan Bayer, but the Dreyer Purlon. But I'm almost out of it now, so I'll be looking for some line as well. I have used some dam line as well, So I don't know if you remember Water Queen. I still had some old spools of that. That was a brilliant line, but unfortunately not available on the market anymore now. So yeah, okay, that's something Neil will have to talk about. Maybe more at a later date on that one. Michael Newton, Clive, who in your opinion is the best overall match angler at the moment? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, it's got to be a toss-up between Adrian Will and Lee Edwards. It has to be. In as far as my circuit is concerned, and I'm sure there's going to be anglers who from London area or even the Yorkshire area who's equally as well. But certainly they seem to stand out more than any at the moment. I mean, there's some cracking anglers around, some really good anglers. But they seem to have their head and shoulders above. Rory's coming on, he's a good angler as well. But these are guys I know. So as I say, I can't, I'm not on the international scene anymore, so I can't tell you about all the English team. So, but in my circuit, those are the guys at the moment. But things changed. Anglers come on, other anglers come on, and there's a lot of good youngsters coming on. I think. Okay, UKC fishing with Big Dan. Hi, everyone. Hello, it's the angler, is it? Big Dan, nice to see you. Don't think Bayer now is like the old Bayer stuff. No, it's not, Neil, because tell you a little story about this, and people know old Peter Drennan. And Peter is a little bit of he'll jump on the bandwagon a little bit. And when Bayer went through, he called his line Bayer Purlon. And it wasn't Bayer Purlon, But that's another thing. Mark Sweeney, such a shame with all your knowledge and little tweaks to get more out of the peg. Yes, well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? As I say, 71 now, so 50, 55 years of fishing, a lot of knowledge I got, a lot of it comes naturally. Lots of things I've forgotten, and I'm still learning, Mark. And we're all learning, mate. We're always learning. Bream 75, how do you know when to use ground bait on a river? Well, again, I think it's a little bit about practice. You need to practice a little bit. You need to, to see whether ground bait will work. Now, ground bait is a big subject I could talk about because, as you're probably aware, we learned all our ground bait secrets, if you like, from the continental anglers. And believe it or not, majority of the ground bait they used to use was lean based. In other words, like non-cereal. And even to this day, that is still the best ground bait to use. I manufacture my own ground bait, only just due to my knowledge of fish species that I know certain amino acids certain fish prefer. But if I really, to be honest with you, I've probably caught more fish on loose feed than I ever have on ground bait. I've had my best results on loose feed rather than ground bait. So I shouldn't say that, being a ground bait manufacturer, but yeah. So it's something you need to practice. You need to look at. In doubt, use molehill, because I wrote an article many years ago, coming back from the World Championships, trying to get hold of lean. And I thought, well, what's the, it's not as natural in this country as it is abroad, because they can just go and dig it up in the fields. Where we got earth, we got molehill, and so that was the closest we come to it, and that's what we used. We mixed molehill with ground bait, even added flavors to the ground bait and to the molehill. So if in doubt, try a bit of molehill first. If it's like a ground bait, but it's a lot cheaper. Okay, Michael Newton, Clive, if an angler won a couple of matches using baked beans, would you try it? You blood right, I would, wouldn't you? Yes, it's all about, and I'm sure anglers have caught on on beans. I'm sure they have. I remember somebody using macaroni of all things on a commercial. And they actually caught on it. So yeah, they, yeah. I'd love to do a vlog one day. I know I mentioned before, like a head-to-head with someone, and using different natural baits would be nice rather than the maggots and casters commercial. But yeah, it'd be good fun using like cheese and things like that. Yeah. Okay. Right now, I'm going to come back a little bit about the why, and this is something that I'm going to tell you a little story. Back in the late 60s, 70s, the River Taff, my local river, fantastic road river, best in the country at the time. Even so, we used to get likes of Kevin Ashes come down, Ken Giles, Max Winters said he used to come as well. And they used to come and fish our matches. And for some reason, for a period of a couple of years, the fishing was tremendous. We were catching roach after roach. But the funny thing was, we weren't catching many above Cardiff. They didn't seem to be above the city. And of course the river then was brackish. It ran into the sea then. Of course, not this day. It's blocked now because of the bay. But anyway, a young angler who was a bit of a scientist, I think, and he turned up at a match one day and he said, I'd make the most of this, lads, if I was you, he said, because this river is getting polluted. And we said, don't be daft, look, we're catching these huge bags of bloody fish. How can they be polluted? Slowly but surely, above stream, there's a company called Liners in Taffswell, which were poisoning the river, slowly and surely. All the weed was dying, everything was, there was no natural habitat, for spawning or fish feeding. And we were catching all these fish. And it went on, and we laughed at him. We laughed at this guy. What happened? The fish disappeared one by one, and the fish became barren. The river became barren. Pollution came down and killed everything. Never had anything. Now, what worries me is Hereford, Belmont. I know it's a natural thing for fish to migrate to Belmont, and they have done for many years. We didn't fish it last year, so because of the COVID. The year before was quite good. And the year before, and this year is absolutely tremendous. But if you've been watching the news, you've been listening to the news, and they're talking about this high pH level caused by chicken farming. All the sewage, all the phosphates are going into the river. It's becoming phosphate rich. There's algae blooms happening, which kills everything. The weed is dying. And the fish are all, like, they seem healthy, and we're catching loads and loads of fish. But we're not catching many fish above Hereford and very few below Hereford. It's as though all the fish have come to Hereford. Now, I know you've got these guys that say, no, it's a natural thing and you don't scaremonger and all that. But I've seen this once happen before on the River Taff. We had a tremendous, couple of years fishing, and the fish died. Now I'm just a bit fearful. That's all. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think we should start looking at. It's just unusual for these fish to be accumulating in such vast numbers. Is it because there's no food upstream or downstream? The weed's gone. Something to think about, lads. Something to think about, and let's hope I'm not. Prophesizing something, because I hope not. I hope this river still, stays and becomes tremendous, Right. Well, that's a question that, that's something I just wanted to bring out because I did bring this up in the forum on the Facebook, and I had a few people a bit concerned about it, and some people, alarmed about it. But, as I said, something we got to keep an eye on. I know for one thing, for certain, we got to try and stop these farms from, putting all their effluent into the rivers and certainly onto the farms land, where then gets washed into the river. Thankfully, the only saving grace, the fact is that the Wye is a spate river and come up very quickly and drop very quickly because we get a lot of rain up in the valleys, up in the Welsh Cumbrian hills, and that can wash down and it can wash it out. So that's the only saving grace. But it does worry me about obviously the weed growth, no plant growth, and where's the fish going to spawn, where they're going to eat when the anglers are not there, and so on. Okay. Let's go back to a couple of questions anyway. Right. Michael Newton, Clive is an angler, won a couple of matches. You make me right. I've said that. I went right. Gary Webb, do you think we'll ever have a Welsh team again? Yeah. In fact, Dave Roberts is trying his hardest. And if any of the lads on you Welsh, then they're entitled to put their name forward because he's going to have some trial matches on the Gloucester Canal coming up next year. So it'd be nice to see the Welsh team. I mean, when I was with the Welsh team, obviously we had I called them the golden years. The team itself, we had individual third with Phil Davis, Richard Bainton. I was runner up and I won it. And the team, we had a bronze. We also had we won it. We were fourth one year, so we had a golden years when I was with them. It'd be great for the Welsh team to come back, and maybe they will one day. Individually, some good anglers there. Okay, right, Dave P. Neil Smith, loads of mole on the riverside by Swiss football pitches. Yes, yeah, and as I said, I wrote an article about it many years ago, and everyone uses it now. So they were. Ian Howard, good evening. Hi, mate. Do you fish both Talbot docks matches all year round or just during the warmer months? No, all year round, mate. In fact, we used to have warm water going into the dock and it should be a fabulous summer venue. But now the warm waters don't go in there, but it's still good fishing. What you saw this Friday, I know I won this match. I was only 14 pound a roach, but you need 30, 40 pound, skimmers and even roach sometimes. So it does fish all year round. Stuart Nichols, good evening. Oh, you just arrived, have you? Where you been? Mark Sweeney, do you reckon it will ever be back to normal, the tap above Black Weir to the... I hope so, Mark. I hope the tap comes back. Trouble is, we don't have matches on there, so we don't really know, do we? We need to get more matches on there because it's a great river, the old river tap. That's where we learned our skills when we were young, So like a mini river Y, in a sense. Dennis Gurdon, hi Clive. What's your preference for a long bollow rod, telescopic or multi-piece? Love the vlogs. Thanks, Den. Well, the thing is, I did mention this last week, and bollies are great rods because obviously they're telescopic, aren't they? Where a multi-piece rod. A multi-piece rod will only go up to, say, 20 foot, won't it? Where, you can get bollies. Like I got my bolly is 23 foot, and it's a nice round all through action. So my preference is a bolly, to be honest. I did have a 20 foot. I won't go much more than a 17-foot rod, but I've also got a 17-foot bolly. But the bolly is bolly rod is softer than the 17-foot multi-piece rod. So horses are courses. That's all I can say. Okay. Let's have a. Max has the E8 carried out sampling of the water on the water. Yes, they are. They're doing samples now, and there's a big. We probably don't hear it so much on the Welsh news, but certainly on the Bristol news, they're talking about it. All last week. The phosphate levels are very high on it. And they're. Anyway, Stephen Peters, well said, Clive. Thank you, mate. Andrew Card, because you're catching so many fish on the Y, the only certain area is when it seems the fish are moving to clean areas. Don't know, Andrew. I don't know. I mean, when you're catching them, there's nothing wrong with the fish at the moment. They're all full, but they all look good health. But why are there so many from one area and not in others? What makes Belmont so special? Don't know. There's lots of questions to be answered there, mate. I don't know. Mark Sweeney, see a Welsh veteran team as well. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing getting into that maybe next year, Mark. Yeah, We do need one, yeah. Stuart Nichols, Clive, what hook link do you use? Are mustard hooks still about? Yeah, mustard is still around. I tell you what, this day and age, the hooks are fabulous, aren't they? Some of these hooks, they're chemically sharpened and they're light, strong. I've been using a new Japanese one lately. I've gone through a stage this year because up until this year I was buying Matrix Supermatch and they were fabulous, but they stopped importing them now. They don't make them; they buy them from Japan. But Matrix, and they brought another range up, which is okay, not as good as the Supermatch ones, but they're okay. And they're very fine, light, and sharp. Yeah, Drennan got a nice one, the spear hook. That's a nice hook as well. Bob Nudd told me about that, and yeah, so that's worth looking at. What line do you use? Right, I still use the I have been using a little bit of the fluorocarbon at the moment, so yeah, probably the Preston is the one I use at the moment. Okay, Gary Webb, I hope you're invited to be part of the management side, if not actual fishing. Well, the thing is, Gary, there's always been a bit of a conspiracy against me over the years. I think it's all right now. I think um, best less said about that, the better. I think. Yeah, you want to read my autobiography? Yeah, what happened to the £250,000? Yeah. Anyway, that's another story. Michael Newton, Clive, do you own or use a centre pin reel for flow fishing? I used to, Michael. Yeah, and they're great fun. But no, when you're match fishing, they're a little bit slow compared to what you can use. And the way I fish, close fish reels, you can't beat them, to be honest with you. Michael Newton, Clive, do you? Sorry, Andrew. Cheers, Clive. Okay, all right, lads. Listen, I've been on you a bit longer than normal. Maybe because the football is a load of rubbish. I think, what's the score now? About 5-0. Well, we all knew they were going to win anyway, England. So, but I do follow England, by the way. You wouldn't think I'm a Welshman. I follow the English team, except when it comes to rugby, of course. Okay, Stuart Nichols. Yes, Clive. Hook today, bro. I tried some gamakatsu in Thailand talk about strong, sharp. I think they would be up there with the Drennan super specialist. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Good day from Oz. Oh, Graham Lowe. Are you from? Oh, nice one, mate. Good day, as they say. Good day. I know my brother was in Australia for about 10 years, and he came back. He kept on saying, good day, good day. And I said, what do you mean, good day? I suppose every day's a good day. Poor bugger, he passed away then, didn't he? My brother. Anyway, as I say, nice to meet you all, lads, and thanks for coming on. As I said, this following week now, I'm fishing Wednesday up on the Y again. It's the ABC League, it's not league, it's a knockout competition. That would be an interesting one because they got one the following Wednesday, but I won't be able to make that one the following Wednesday because that would be the day I'm getting prepared to go to Thailand. And when I go to Thailand, as I said, I'll try and fit in a vlog to talk to guys, try and do some vlogging with the fishing over there, and if we can get the matches up and running again with Billy Makin and Dennis and a few of the other lads and Tony, who was on here earlier, it'd be great, So you can have a look at that and see how they do it. We can always learn a little bit off them as well. Okay, Stephen Peters, have a good night. Same to you, mate. And as I said, thanks for watching. Just coming back. And then next weekend, I met Clive Roberts, who unfortunately, in his day, he was a very good angler. He's had a heart problem. He's got what they call like a pacemaker thing. He's also got prostate trouble, and but anyway, he's going to make the effort, and we're going to fish the pairs together on the Y next weekend. So I hope for his sake he hasn't got to walk too far, and if any of the lads who are fishing can give him a hand, that'd be great. But if we can get him on the riverbank fishing, and if he's on fish, he'll catch. I know he will. So yeah. Okay, Stephen, thanks, mate. And then Gary, same to you, mate. And all the guys who've been watching, have a good one. And any more questions after the blog, you can always fire away, and I'll try and answer them later on. And all your comments, fantastic. I printed them all out. It's nice to see such a good feedback now after a lot of that. Some of them obviously a bit negative, but then look, we're all open to our own opinions, and it's nice to feedback. I still get some people still give me a thumbs down, but hey, up to them. Okay, Neil, nice to see you, mate. Neil Smith, Fred Davis, hi, best of luck. Cheers, mate. Stuart Nichols, thanks, mate. Gary Webb, lovely, thank you. Dave, cheers, mate. Great. It'd be nice to see you a face to the name someday, and hopefully, you never know. If ever we bump in on the riverbank, just say hello to me, and it'd be nice to see you. Okay, all the best. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. I'll be on you again next week, and I'll be talking about the match fishing vlogs that I've just done and any other news coming up. Okay.